Hello, welcome to October 5th, 2022. My name is Kurt, and this video is my daily good life meditation. This is something that I do, an exercise of sorts, each and every morning to exercise my Stoic creed, the good life. It's something that's in my book, Going Alone, which tells the story of how I discovered this way of thinking, basically. Codified it, wrote it down, and began working on it about 4 years ago to live a better life. And I do this every morning to keep it sharp and clear in my mind, and to work on the principles and adjust them. When I first started off, there were 5 total, and now there are 7 objectives and 32 principles, so it's grown a bit. Some of these items I've borrowed from philosophies, code of ethics, various things that I found in my reading. And then there's a number in there that I have added wholesale as well, although I think on the balance, nothing is really very new anywhere anymore with regard to things like this. So this exercise is something that I do to remember these and to see how I did applying them to yesterday and to plan for today. So first, last night and yesterday. I slept well last night. I had a really hard day yesterday. Maybe that's why I slept well. Yeah, my projects are in the thick of it right now. I'm really working hard, and I've got to stay focused and sharp. Focused and sharp. I need to be on my game, my A game. Excuse me. So every day's taking everything out of me. There ain't much left of me by the end of the day anymore these weeks. But I think Friday should be the high water mark. That's the goal live for my wave 1 of my big project that I'm working on. This project won't be done until this time next year, about December. It's actually December 2023. So I got a long haul ahead of me. But Friday's the big day. So that's that. So to be expected to be a long struggle. Well, I should be tired, I should be exhausted. And I am, and I that's all right. All right, what else? I guess there's nothing more but just to do it. Let's do the good life. My 7 objectives are as follows. 1, to be always ready to die. To have my life's work, my relationships, and my affairs in a sound, settled state. Even though I'm still working on them, at least they're as settled as can be. It's like setting the table for dinner. It's ready to go. Okay, maybe that's not a good analogy. What is a good analogy then? Having things ready to go, but always changing. Oh, I guess it would be like having your household kept clean and orderly. You're always, doing stuff. I mean, you're adding new things to the house, watering the plants, vacuuming, making dinners, lunches and breakfasts, attending to friends that visit, enjoying the TV, taking a shower. There's always activity going on in there, but the good housekeeper keeps their house neat and tidy at all times, because you never know when the guest might arrive. In this case, the guest be death. In this case, the guest be death. I like that. Yeah. So, like I keep our house nice, so too I keep my life tidy, clean, orderly. That's my first objective. My second objective is to make good and effective use of my time, to not waste my days. There's so few of them. Death is right around the corner. Even for the young, even for the newborn, for the elderly, for the middle-aged, for you and me right now. Death is upon us. So, There's no room to waste my days. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. That's the 7 and 32 that I'm talking about right now. And I do this by doing this exercise every day, thinking about them throughout the day. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to become a man who doesn't get upset or fly off the handle, but who stays calm and collected. So yesterday I had a moment that I didn't. At work, I have 2 things at work that kind of keep me on edge. One is propriety. It's very important to me. I'm the kind of person that needs like a time clock, even though I don't have one at work. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And then when I ka-chunk in, I work like hell. And then when I ka-chunk out, I'm done. I was late yesterday because, but I work overtime every day. I don't charge for an extra hour. So the company, the place where I work has the flexible thing. Like if I work an extra hour one night, I can kind of make up for it the next day. It's on the honor system kind of, but I don't like doing that because then it gives the appearance. It's all about propriety. It gives the appearance like I'm showing up late to work. I start work at 7 o'clock. I rolled into work at 7:20, 7:10, 15 yesterday because I was late because I had a technical problem that required me to go into work. And when I got there, and the second thing that I have trouble with is authority. Even though I know that people in authority are all just human beings like you and me. I'm talking about executives and managers. I have a sense of deference to them, right, to their office at least. And I treat them very respectfully, and unless I don't like them. I still treat them with courtesy, but if I don't like them, I just avoid them. But I'm very lucky that I like all the executives and managers that I work with, so I don't have that problem. But I do treat them with grave respect, so to speak. So yesterday I rolled in at about 7:10. No. I was starting work at 7:30. I remember the timing. I started work at 7:30, not 7. Is that right? Yeah. I was 6 minutes late. I rolled into the office at 7:36. Sin of all sins, 6 minutes late. And I ran into one of our executives who was just there as well. And so the twin thing nailed me, right? One, the deference for authority, and then 2, the fact that I was late, even though I don't think that person would have considered that to be the case, or heaven, they were walking in at the same time, but they're held to a different standard, right? I guess it's a higher standard. Anyway, so I was all flustered. I was like, like a babbling, blah, 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 not my usual composed. It's a strong effort that I make to be composed. Because we're talking about that 4th principle right now, which is good emotional reactions, keeping my composure through life, not flying off the handle. It's not easy and it's not natural. Excuse me. It's an effort, and it's a fine effort because it doesn't come natural to me. I think it's an effort of maturity to do, but I wasn't that. I was kind of stumbling all over myself. So that was an interesting thing, but it's pretty rare that happens anymore. I'm pretty staid and steady these days. And I think I can thank this effort, this Good Life Creed, this Good Life effort, this meditation video for doing this. Looking at myself in the camera. I can see myself right here. If it may sound self-centered to be talking to yourself in the camera for a half hour every day, but it does something. I can see my composure. I can see how I am holding my frame. I can see the level of my eyes, all that stuff. And it helps me to train. I guess it would be like a ballet dancer doing a dance in her or his mirrored wall, right? Looking at the forms, the pirouette and all that stuff. For me, it's looking at my gaze, looking at the way I'm holding myself, gauging the measure of my speaking. It's a worthwhile endeavor, for sure, to gain that self-control through daily practice. All right, the next principle, objective that is um, to do good actions, do good things throughout the day. Like yesterday, I had a good one. Yesterday, I was for the last couple of days. There's a park up here, Alder Bryan Park or something, whatever it's called. I think that's a star. Anyway, there's a park and there. People go up there and they release. It's on the edge of the desert, and there's a big hedge there, and people release their domestic bunny rabbits up there for some reason, and the coyotes get them. So the other day, I noticed one, and you can tell the domestics from the cottontails. They come out of the hedge and they eat the grass, and the cottontails all disappear into the hedge, but the domestic ones don't. They just sit there and munch the grass, which makes them very vulnerable to the coyotes. So I saw it sitting there, and I knew about a bunny rescue. So I took a photo, and I called them up. They have a rescue phone number, and I set up a text correspondence with the woman that answered the phone. And for 2 days, I sent her photos, letting her know the bunny was still there, until she was able to arrange yesterday morning to come out and pick it up. And she rescued the bunny from the coyotes, and I felt really good about that. So I participated in that sense of good reactions. That and these videos are, I like to think they're not just for me. I've struggled with a lot in my life, and have come a long way from deep depression and despondency. Thoughts of suicide in my 30s. I mean, I almost threw myself off a tall bridge when I was probably about 2 years before Emily was born, I think. That's up there in Santa Barbara. There's a big bridge that goes over a gorge. I mean, I've had some rough times in life, and I've worked very hard to collect myself and to develop a way of life without giving in to the soothing, comforting thoughts of things like, I'm just going to believe in God, and then I'm going to pray it away and wish and hope and think about another world, that not of this world frame of mind, right? So this all the pain. I'm just gonna wait it out until I can get there. Tried to do it without doing that, or without falling into alcohol or heaven forbid drugs, or some violent lifestyle, or partying, or women, or whatever the case may be. And I'm tempted by all of that stuff, with the exception of drugs. I've gone to the edge of all that stuff, and I've always been a loyal man, but I've thought about it, because you can do that kind of stuff. You can distract your pain away, mask it in a way with all kinds of. It's one of my principles, the principle of distraction. So I tried not to do any of that, and to instead to face the emptiness. That's on the cover of my book. Alone, the great indifference, the pain, and then to say, okay, I'm going to go further out there and have a closer look. And the result has been that, this, right? I mean, I wrote Going Alone, and the books on either side of that, and I developed the Good Life Creed, which I apply every day, which has led me to become a man who has been able to fulfill my responsibilities and duties in life. I mean, which isn't saying a lot. I mean, a lot of us do fulfill our duties and responsibilities in life. But I've been able to do it in such a way that I was able to start out from a position, or in a position, why am I wouldn't say it started out in that way. It wasn't like that when I was a kid, but I got to a point of desperation, of near suicidal desperation, and to be able to push myself literally inch by inch. It really feels like in the moment of it now, like in the mid 30s through the entire decade of the 40s was really hard. Never feeling like there was any forward progress until one day, that's why the principle I have, the upward climb, right? It feels like an upward climb. One day you kind of stop and you look around and you're like, holy crap, I've climbed Mount Fuji. So the reason I'm leading up to this is I got a comment yesterday, which I'm going to follow up again today on one of my YouTube videos, a video I wrote about suicide. I think it's called Letter to a Potential Suicide. I think that's the name of the video that I produced. I don't know which channel it was on. Probably the softypapa channel. Yes, it must have been the softypapa channel because that's where I saw the comment. Anyway, the comment was from someone who said, I watched this video 9 years ago, and I'm paraphrasing, and I wanted to let you know, Kurt, that I'm still here. And it was basically the tone and tenor of the comment was that it seemed like the video that I made, Letter to a Potential Suicide, seemed to have maybe caused them to decide to stick around. So, speaking about doing good things, that was this fifth principle, right? We're doing good things throughout the day. Doing this feels like that. Doing things like trying to connect the bunny rescue people. Isn't it a great thing that there are such people with a homeless bunny in the park? Feels like that as well. But it could be small things like picking up trash or whatever it is, holding the door open. You've heard me say this before if you watch these videos. But that one really meant a lot to me. So yeah, there you go. Holy crap! It's the top of Mount Fuji. It is a climb. 17. The next principle is, the next objective is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities so that I can keep within the lines of what is and what is not within my control. And then the next one is to recognize, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, as I'm trying to do right now. All right, now my 32 principles as follows. 1 is the principle of war. To always be fighting against anything that I think is true already, or anything that anyone proposes to me that I should believe is being true, or anything that I think up on my own that I think should be believe is true. I need to suffer that proposition to go through, to weather the gauntlet of right reason, of the endeavor to examination towards right reason, or within or against right reason, to know if it is true before I onboard it as tentatively accepted as true. 2 is the principle of reason, which is the aforementioned instrument of right reason, which has the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, doubt, and humiliation. Being honest with myself, objective in my view, looking from many sides, up and down as well. Be a fierce skeptic and ready to be grateful for the humiliation that might come of discovering that I'm wrong. Thank goodness I discovered I was wrong. 3 is the homunculus, the reminder that I do not have a soul, it seems, nor does anyone else. We just have a little consciousness, a little sense of ourselves right behind our eyeballs, living in our skull, that will die with us. That's the next principle, the Anchorhold, the idea that the consciousness is trapped on like a rock within our, sticking out of a sea. It's what it is within our head, and as soon as this bodily apparatus ceases working, the homunculus is doomed. Doomed, I say. Okay, the next is the home of good and evil. Right and wrong do not exist out in the universe. There appears to be no lawgiver, no God that's, chiseling away 10 commandments on stones on any mountain anywhere. These are just ideas that we've come up with. So we're on our own in figuring out right or wrong. And we also have to realize that right and wrong aren't grounded in anything other than our bias and our belief, whether that be founded on wishful thinking or reason. It's quite a dangerous thing. And then next comes the purpose. My 3 purpose in life are to be a good husband and father, to be a virtuous man, and where virtue is defined as working towards the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures, thinking about that bunny yesterday and the man who left me the comment, and I'm going to respond to him again today, offer him a copy of him or her a copy of Going Alone. And then 3, my third purpose is to share just that, to share the message and story of Going Alone in the Good Life Creed. By the way, I just updated the book. I think I really got it done this time, and it's a new edition this week. I think it's really almost there. Next is the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, flowing and changing and falling to pieces, just like you and me. Then comes the principle of nature. Everything in the universe has some particular nature, and it's good to recognize what that is. I'm T-minus 2 days to the end of the way of go live for one of my projects. It's the nature of being near the end, within striking distance of go live for a project to be hectic and stressful. And I should recognize it as such. Next is maturity. No. Yeah, maturity. Yes? No. Yes. No, the pirate ride. The pirate ride simply suggests that free will is an illusion. I don't think we're really free. I think we're constrained by what the universe has to say about everything, mindlessly, thoughtlessly, conspirately, without mind or thought. I think it conspires by virtue of the fact that it there seem to be ways that the universe operates, which we use our descriptive laws of physics to describe. That's the conspiracy, as Hawkins would say. The universe seems to be perfectly tuned for the creation of black holes. Maybe that's the whole purpose of it all. And what end a black hole? Good, quite interesting. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent there. So bring it back. Next comes maturity and the sub-principles of wisdom, fortitude, and integrity. I am mature when I wisely remember my past successes and failures, have the fortitude to do better, and integrity is what results when I have my actions are a match for my values. After that comes is it next the social principle? Okay, hold on. Atomic principle, nature, pirate ride, maturity, social principle. We're social creatures. We need each other. You need your people. I need my people. And then public speaking, a reminder. Oh, and then with the social principle comes a couple of sub-principles. Diplomacy, justice, and conspiracy. I get to use that word again. I knew I used it a little too soon, but it was appropriate. It was apt. Diplomacy, because diplomacy is what we have to work together to decide how we're going to build a better city. Justice is what we're seeking after as the end result of all these endeavors, and then conspiracy is what we do when we link arms and decide, even if we disagree, you're from the one side and I'm from the other, but we link arms and head towards some mutually diplomatically agreed result. Okay, and then the next is diplomacy and justice is public speaking, and there are 4 sub-principles here. It's a suggestion to use best words we can in every opportunity. And the sub-principles are best words, have a rich vocabulary, build a rich vocabulary, but then choose just the choicest words whenever communicating. Not flashy, not flattering, not disingenuous, but accurate and to the point and succinct and easily understood by everybody. Adjust per your audience. That's small. And then the next one is best words forget. Prudence, prudence. Prudence is the engine of aligning our expression in the moment with our values. So as I'm actively speaking and writing, I'm pressing these ideas through the filter of the Good Life Creed and all other elements of my values. And what results is an immediate, in the moment distillation of just the thing that I want to say. It's an imperfect art, but it is something that is possible. It's amazing how this works. And with a lot of practice, it gets to the point that you wind up saying less and less saying things that you regret because you filter them out. And you can get better if you practice it. You can get better at doing it in the moment, even in the speed of hasty thought and talking. It's quite an experience. And then the end result of that prudence is the integrity and the aforementioned principle of maturity. Then the other one is, so best words, prudence. Eloquence is next. Eloquence is the ability to speak beautifully. And that comes of practice, practice, practice. Not just beautifully, but to the point and illustrative of our values. And then the two negative elements are gossip and rumors. I don't want to engage in those. They're nasty things. Okay, I don't think I can see if I can get further. Next are 5 principles that go together. Temperance, life will not go well. The horror show, too fast. Temperance, life will not go well. The horror show, that which must be borne with an E, carried, and the Feast of Offal. Temperance is what we do when we are able to control everything that we do. Our work and our play, how much we work and how much we play, how much we eat or drink, everything. And control the measure and the cadence of our speaking, of our working, of our doing, of our being, or at least our conscious being. And there's 2 sub-principles there are suffering and simplicity. Suffering because we suffer a little bit when we deny ourselves what we want. Sometimes we suffer a lot. And simplicity because a simple life is a temperate life. Now I list that as the first of the 5 because it's the tool that I use in the principles that are coming up to try to exercise self-control. The next one is life will not go well, and it won't. Things are going to happen throughout the day. I had something happen yesterday at one of my projects. I had formed a poor bit of communication which caused a great misunderstanding and threatens my go live for almost half of my websites that are going to go live on Friday due to just some bad language on my part. I mean, not 4-letter words, but badly communicated words or assumptions, basically. But it looks like we're going to get it back on track. But it's going to be at the expense of some stress for some people that I could have avoided if I had done a better job. Life will not go well, despite my best efforts. 3, the horror show. Sometimes life will not go well to a horrifying degree, and we'll be left battered, bruised, burned, torn apart, destroyed, obliviated. Is that a word? And maybe dead. It's happening right now around us, maybe to some of us. And if it's not happening to you right now, it's going to happen to you and me. The horror awaits. Yeah. God damn it. It always makes me cuss, you know. And I always get afraid. I want to give you examples. I want to make up scenarios like a good Stoic should, and then ask myself, why did I think I was immune to that? But it's just too hard for me. I'm not there yet. All I can say is that, God damn it, the horror awaits. And if it isn't waiting, it's already arrived. Up and down this, I like to say, up and down this block that I'll be living here for another 2 or 3 weeks, there's horror unfolding around me, to these old people that live there, and some of the young people too, a lot of the young people. There's someone out there that's about to end their life. There's someone out there writhing in pain. There's someone out there being mentally tormented in panic attacks at the moment. There's someone out there thinking about ending their life, asking themselves, why do I continue? How can I go on? And I'm just touching the surface, right? I'm not giving any particulars or details because I can't go there because the goddamn horror is too hard for me. I need to strengthen myself because I know that episodes are most likely going to occur in my life, especially as I get older. The horror will come and arrive, and I want to be prepared for that. I'm not yet prepared. It's a deep vulnerability in my life right now. Is it a vulnerability? It is a vulnerability because there is a mechanism to deal with it, and that is Stoic apathy, Stoic recognition of where to apply my attention and my attendance, the understanding of right reason, of seeing where the values, where my values are, knowing where the limits are, asking myself what is a reasonable expectation of a chaotic world devolving into entropy. It is to expect horror and death. That is a reasonable expectation. Okay, let's see. After that comes, did I get there? Oh no, 2 more in the fivers. That was number 3. This fourth one is that which must be borne, carried. We have to carry the fact of the horror show, and we have to carry the fact that life will not go well. Sorry, it's our burden to carry. Next one, the fifth of this fiver is the Feast of Offal. We get upset, and we throw our upset out at others, especially our family, temper tantrums. I used to do that a lot. About every 3 or 4 months, I would have a temper tantrum. Never violent, just show my wife, life sucks, all this stuff. That was decades ago. That was in my 30s. Probably the last time I did that was maybe my mid-40s. So maybe it's been a decade and a half since I've really done that anymore. I'm glad it's done. That part of my life is over. That was not a good thing. I would suffer my family to see my upset. For the most part, the upset's gone. Life's still hard, but I've learned to mitigate the damage and to absorb it, and to it's kind of like judo in a way. I guess, is judo the right one, or maybe aikido, where you it hits you, it goes over there, right? It's like, that was close. Whereas, in my 30s, it would hit me full on the face, blam, and knock me back, and I'd get a black eye, and I'd stand up and, God damn it, in front of my family, no less. I've worked hard to get past that. It's been a long effort, and this is the result. So, it's that thick, right? With effort. So there's that. There you go. So I don't do that anymore, and I don't recommend doing it because it hurts people. And it doesn't mean you have to swallow it. It means you just have to deal with it better. I like that image. Okay, so that's the end of that. Now I come to, this is where I can start to go astray. What's the next one? Is it distraction? It's distraction. Okay, the next principle, there's two: distraction and agency and the great indifference. Let's deal with them together. We don't want to see the fact that apparently there is no God or gods, right? I mean, the universe is empty. You can plead all you want, and talk to God, and if what you're hearing is most likely just your own voice answering, right? I mean, they've done those tests where they hook people up to the meters that allow you to see where the brain activity is, and then when they describe God as talking to them, it's the part of their brain that they used for their own internal dialogue, right? I mean, there's two parts of our brain where we cognize about or what other people have told us, and then what we're telling ourselves. God speaking from us comes from within, from ourselves. It's the evidence is clear. So there's nobody talking to you but yourself, and so we don't want to see that. We want to think that somebody else that knows what the hell they're doing is talking to us. So we tell ourselves there's God, and then we pray to that God, and we hope for the best. And then we think that either way the prayer goes, we say that, well, God knows better, so I guess this is the right direction. It's a weak, a frightful, and a immature perspective on things. It's not very adult, and it's not very courageous to go through life like that. It's more passive and just getting through until the end, right? It works. I mean, people get there, but it's sloppy, messy, and fraught with uncertainty and dead ends, and lack of responsibility. There, I've been very plain and upfront about it. So I don't recommend doing that, right? So enough of that. Stop distracting ourselves by telling ourselves that some big brother is watching after us. Let's take on the responsibility to manage and run our own lives. So stop distracting ourselves with all that stuff, right? So that's why it's called the principle of distraction and agency and the great indifference. Face up to the fact that it appears that we're alone, and get on with doing the hard work to build the better city together with each other. Okay, after that comes, I think, Temperance is the next one, and that would be the start of a threefer. No, the best seat in the house. I almost missed one. The best seat in the house. To not want to be anyone else, be anywhere else, or be doing anything else, but to be okay with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing right here, right now, right when. Right here, right now, right who. There we go. It's a simple little principle, but it's a fun one too, because it means that I'm trying to improve my circumstance, my person, and my activities now, all the while trying to be all right with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing. It's like one of these things, right? Pat, tap, tap. Okay, the next one is the Restless Man, and this is the start of a 3, I think, that go together. The Restless Man, the Path of Wildness, and the Great Life Adventure. Is that right? That's right. See, they're all laid out here. The Path of Wildness, the Great Life Adventure, and the Restless Man is on the other page. It's hard to believe that the Great Life Adventure is just that one little thing. It's such a key element of the book, but all I've got is just like one. It's not even like 3 sentences. Let's just read it. Embark when you are young upon that beckoning dream, an adventure. Let it be the centerpiece and point of reference for the man or woman who you will become. Let the experience inform and guide your active philosophy as well as the development of your own living principles and standards. Yeah, that's it. That's all I needed. So, okay, well, let's deal with these 3 together. The Restless Man is what we feel, some of us, not all of us, but most of us, feel in our early 20s, mid-20s, all of our life, especially if we don't do anything about it. We want to do something. We want to go somewhere. We want to be something, right? Do something. Have an adventure. I recommend doing that if you feel that way, because if you don't, it's going to come back and bite you and haunt you all your life. Even if you do it, it'll still kind of haunt you, but at least you got it out of the way. And when you do it, you step on the second principle, which is the path of wildness, which leads out of a current life circumstance into another one. The key is you have to give up everything that you've got. You have to break it apart. Like I'm about to break all this down. Yumiko and I, our life is just, we've had like successive great life adventures, chapters in our life of greater or bigger or smaller degree, that really are basically where we take apart one life and build a new life. And it's the one thing that can kind of bind Yumiko and I together, is we both are, we are a restless man and a restless woman, and we like to mix it up. And every time we do it, we have fun, and it's a big adventure. So, but you can't keep this and go have that. You have to destroy this and then go have that. And then you take a great risk that you've lost this. That's the thing. And it may not work out. It may be terrible. It may have been a horrible idea. And lucky you if that's the case. Because in the long run, it's the great life adventures that are awful that are typically the best in the end. Just put that in my pipe and smoke it. So there you go. The Restless Man, the Path of Wildness, and the Great Life Adventure. I think I kind of summed them up quickly. It's in a threefer. After that comes what's next. Oh, the risk of avoiding risk. There's the deep and the surface level. The deep, because it's small. And then the surface level risk of life, because it's big. The surface level risk of life is education, career, home, family, and saving for retirement. Right? Education, career, a spouse and family, home, and career. And you can get those by just following the general course of life. I mean, we all get a little blueprint kind of from society. It says, here's what you do. Go to school, get a job, buy a house, get a mortgage, find a gal, find a guy, marry, raise kids, get a house, save for retirement, die, get the hell out of the way. That's the 5. The deep risk is that you don't go after the friggin' thing that's been bugging you all your life. Like, I want to have an adventure. I want to do something. I want to find myself, so to speak. The thing the hippies did, the things that hippies all through time have done. It's the hippie motivation, the hippie motive. You better do it. It's going to haunt you. And then it gets too late. Get too old and you can't do it. Even if you can do it, you can't do it because you're too old, you're too wise, you're too you know better, and you're too risk averse. Sorry, your chance is gone. This message is for the young. That part of the Good Life Creed. Give yourself, if you're 20-something, give yourself from 20 after college. Go to college. After 24, 23, 24, 25, all the way to 30, that's your time. Don't come back. Go. Okay, don't come back until you're 30. Then you can come back. Lucky you. Okay, after that comes, and if you didn't do that, if you got married too soon, you can still do it. Just, work out with your partner and say, I'm going to take a Saturday or a Sunday every 2 weeks and go do something. That's what I did basically. So I mean, I'm the guy that didn't do the 25 to 30 thing. I learned from that. But I did do the every other weekend thing. That's how softypapa came about, and that did the job. That was sufficient. Okay, now is sin and damnation. The 7 sins in my worldview are falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, authority. There's 8 actually: authority, rumor, and gossip. Don't do any of those things because they're sins. They're bad things to do, and they're weak, and they just screw us up. Believing things that are untrue, being untrue, or believing things that are likely untrue, being untrue, and being a damned rumor monger and a gossip. Oh. Next is complete oblivion. I think I've gone on long enough about that. I don't think there's any God, there's any afterlife, there's no soul. When you're dead, that's the end of you. You won't be seeing your loved ones again. You won't have a chance to reconcile any differences, and there won't be any justice after we're dead. So do those things while you have a chance while you're alive. Then comes the season of philosophy, which is a time to record what we've learned along the way. Then the bullseye aim, shooting for the mark but usually missing. The uphill climb, trudge all the way up. Arena and utility. Life is an arena to use the tools of our whatever our creed may be. In my case, it's the Good Life Creed. Apathy, prudence, right reason, fortitude, etc. as the tools to help me get along. Nothing is enough is the next principle. Trying to get by with as little as possible. Supplementing myself with my own internal goods, as the Stoic would say. Keep making those internal goods enough. And then lastly, the principle of fun, an endeavor to have a good time. How? To enjoy thinking about tomorrow and enjoy the remembrance of yesterday. I think that we did it. There's the Good Life Creed for today. Now what am I going to do today? I'm going to finish this. I'll read my Bible. Then I will, I'm in the book of Daniel now. Finally made it through Ezekiel. It took a long time. I'm in the book of Daniel, and I'm spending a couple of days on just studying it from the opening bit and chapter 1. Interesting. I want to understand the setting, the circumstance, the historical background of it, etc., before I begin deep into the story. But I am reading Daniel 1 over and over again, so I'm getting a good start. It's like, and then we're going to go. From there, then I'll take the dog, go downstairs, feed the dogs, walk the dogs, come upstairs. I'm going to work from home today. Get into my work clothes, start this day, and make a great day of it. It's going to be a good day. Well, no, it's going to be a day. I don't know what kind of day it's going to be. Maybe a crap day. But am I ready? I am ready. I've got my principles. I've got my objectives that I'm leading for. My purpose is largely met in life. I can die at any time. I am ready for death. I'm ready. I hope you are too. Be safe, but not too safe.